Canada's population growth has been 30% in the last 20 years. Within that, just 10% have come in the last 4 years. Do you see it as a problem? And yes, Canadian government did see that as a problem, including every citizen who lives in here in this country. And there's a lot of buzz around this and people saying things like Canadians are fed up with immigration, or that Canadians don't want to see other cultures taking over. And with this new immigration plan laid by Canadian government, it might seem like the government is listening to those voices. But is that really the case? Is this just about giving in to anti-immigrant sentiments, or is there more strategic reason behind this shift? Today I'm going to break it all down, separating the myths from the reality and showing you what this new plan really means for the future of immigration in Canada, and if it's really worth for you to keep your hopes high. So what's actually in this new plan? For the first time ever, Canada's immigration levels plan is taking a significant shift. The next 3 years, including 25, 26, 27, includes controlled targets not just for permanent residents, but for temporary residents too, like international students and foreign workers. And yes, it's a reduction. The numbers are being scaled back from 500,000 permanent residents in 2025 down to 395,000 and even further in 2026 and 2027. And we are also seeing temporary resident targets capped at 5% of Canada's population. But why the sudden shift? Is it really just about listening to those anti-immigration voices? Of course, the government says it's about balance. They're aiming for well-managed, sustainable growth instead of just rapid population increases. Remember the post-pandemic era when Canada's borders reopened? I believe that was in 2021. We saw a rush of newcomers to fill the gaps in the workforce. Businesses were desperate for workers and the government acted fast to bring in skilled immigrants, students and workers to help kickstart the economic recovery. I believe it worked, and Canada's economy bounced back quicker than many expected, and a recession was averted. But the rapid growth came with challenges like rising pressure on housing, infrastructure and social services. So what's in this new plan? It's supposed to ease those pressures, allowing Canada to catch its breath before moving forward with growth again. Well, here's the truth for you all. Immigration remains essential for Canada's economic health. That is true, nobody can deny it. In fact, this plan is not about shutting the doors, it's about pacing the country, ensuring that newcomers have a fair shot at success when they arrive into this country, by any means. And the focus is on helping them integrate better, making sure they have access to housing, jobs, and the support they need, instead of just opening the floodgates without a plan. Which is a good thing, not bringing in junk into the country. The government has acknowledged that Canadians want a system that is fair and orderly. So yes, they have adjusted the targets, but it's not about closing doors, it's about building a stronger foundation, which should be seen as a welcoming measure, of course. One of the most significant changes in this plan is the shift in focus from temporary residents, international students, and temporary foreign workers to transitioning those already in Canada to permanent status. Why? Because these are people who are already here, contributing to the economy, and in many cases are already integrated into the communities. And the plan is to transition more of them into permanent residents, with about 40% of total admissions in 2025 to be exact, which is meant to alleviate the pressures on housing because those people are already living and have a housing and social services are already being utilized. So instead of continuously bringing in new temporary residents, the idea is to offer stability to those who have already made Canada their home. That's more sensible for me. Now, if you are an international student or planning to study in Canada in the next few years, you're probably wondering what this means for you. And it's absolutely true, recent changes have placed a cap on the number of international students and eligibility for work permits is getting tighter. But what is the goal here? Like the government says, it's to maintain the quality of candidates, maintain the quality of Canada's education system, and ensure the students are not facing overcrowded classes or struggling to find housing. But the silver lining is that if you are already here, you might find it easier to transition to permanent residence than before your permits get expired. They want to keep those who are already contributing to Canada's success, people who have studied here, worked here, and are ready to put down roots. I think that is exactly what many of them have been protesting for. Seems like the government heard them. So what's the takeaway from all of this? Is Canada turning its back on immigration? Not quite. It's more like pressing pause to take stock of where we are and where we are headed. Canada's long-term vision is still very much about growth through immigration, but now it's about making sure that growth is sustainable, which is a smart move, of course. And it's also about creating a system that works for everyone, newcomers and Canadians alike. Canada knows its need immigrants to thrive, and this plan is about ensuring that when they come, they find a country ready to welcome them. So if you have been hearing those headlines about Canadians hating immigration or feeling like this country is closing its doors, don't be so quick to believe it. Canada still has opportunities, just one that's being a bit more deliberate about how it manages that opportunity. The next 3 years, immigration levels is definitely a shift, no doubt about it, but it's one that aims to create a balance between today's realities and tomorrow's growth. As always, it's not just about the numbers, it's about the people behind those numbers and how we can make Canada a place where they can truly thrive. And that's something worth talking about. And thank you for watching Grit Tales.